That is the hardest part of that ring.
For the hardest part of the ring.
Hello and welcome to episode number 60 of Hardest Part of the Ring, the podcast where four friends get together to celebrate the wonder of professional wrestling. And today, there aren't four, there aren't two, and it's not just me. And you've worked it out, there are three of us.
For one last ride.
Oh, yeah, we are the Shield.
Oh God, are we?
This isn't our final pod, is it?
We'll see how it goes.
Brett can be
Okay,
like
yeah.
Kurt Angle when he dressed up as a Shield and looked really lost.
Do you guys remember when that random guy from the crowd just got in and joined the Shield? It was so
Yeah.
funny.
Brett's got the mobility of Kurt Angle, hasn't he?
Oh, that's...
Always start with a dig.
I don't know who you're dissing there.
Got to start with a dig with the person who's not here. So yes, listeners, Brett isn't here. He is way too busy. I think ever since he got all this great Riptide work, he's just being hit up all over the place with different people. So he's got too many deadlines. He said he was watching Fastlane whilst working and wasn't taking any of it in. So he just said, look, mate, just don't bother podding. You only pod if you can bring your A game, and he couldn't guarantee us that. So he's not here.
Do you know what it was, though? He saw Baron Corbin in the main event and he just thought, nope.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, that's probably got something to do with it. So, I am Adam and I am here, and you have heard Sam.
Hello.
And John.
Hello.
And this is going to be our WWE Fastlane 2019 review. Our last podcast was a top five wrestlers to defend you in court, which was a pretty crazy one, a funny one, very enjoyable to do. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it as much as we did recording it. We have got, what else have we got? We've got the hardest question of the week coming up later, and that's about it, I think. Should we get on with it?
Yeah, we went from a joke podcast to a joke of a pay-per-view. Yeah?
Bit harsh.
Bit harsh.
Quite like this pay-per-view.
I've got more than that. Fastlane.
No,
It's like
save
a farce.
it, Sam. Save it.
Okay,
Let's
okay,
do
okay.
it after this quick break.
And now the power comes out. Lacey Lane bounced off the apron.
And that is the hardest part of the ring. Nothing but steel under that.
WWE Fastlane 2019 was held at the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland, Ohio, which is...
Quicken Loans.
That doesn't sound right, does it?
No, it doesn't.
That's a bit like the old Mike Ashley kind of sports direct arena.
Well, I was going to say, I support a football team who play at the Emirates Stadium. It's just modern sport nowadays, guys.
I don't like it, man. I don't like
No,
it.
me neither. It's
We
awful.
need to get sponsorship for the pod so we can change our name.
What would it be?
Ooh, yeah. The Preparation H podcast.
Oh, very good. That's so much better than the Bet365 wrestling pod.
Yeah, I reckon the Preparation H podcast already exists. It's a load of old men sitting
I don't think
together.
it's a wrestling podcast.
Yeah, and actually I'm appearing on next week's episode, guys. I'm co-hosting. So the Quicken Loans Arena is home of the Cleveland Cavaliers of the National Basketball Association. Sorry, you can tell I got this from Wikipedia and I didn't say NBA.
National... I was like, what the hell's the National Basket Association?
That's something nobody ever says. The Cleveland Monsters of the American Hockey League.
The Monstars.
And the Cleveland Gladiators of the Arena Football League.
Arena football?
Oh, the AFL. That's the new one, isn't it? There's a new American Football League, which is not XFL, but not NFL.
Okay, yeah, let's just say it's that and go with it.
Cool.
Again, I couldn't find the attendance for this, but I did find out that the Quicken Loans Arena has a capacity of 20,562. But I mean,
I
guess
if
that's people sitting
WWE
around
aren't
the edge.
shoving the attendance down your throat, it probably wasn't great.
Yeah.
If WWE to be believed, it's about 35,000.
Plus more queuing up outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. The card for this, we had a pre-show, and pre-show Jones isn't here, so nobody actually knows if it was any good. But it was The New Day versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev, who are a tag team now. Interesting.
Yeah.
Goodness me. How the mighty have fallen.
Oh my god, Shinsuke, yeah.
It's very much a thing they're doing. They are just so stacked with all these great singles wrestlers that they're just shoving people together. They just don't have the tag team, so they shove people together. No doubt they'll have a little title run and it'll flip flop with somebody else. And I mean, we'll discuss this later with the tag team match that we saw, the triple threat. and the made-up team in there. But yeah, it's just something they like to do. But if you've got that many good wrestlers, they may as well be doing something.
I suppose.
The main card, started off with The Miz and Shane O'Mac versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. We then had Asuka versus Mandy Rose for the SmackDown Women's Championship. We had a handicap match of Kofi Kingston versus The Bar, and obviously we'll discuss all that stuff and how that came about. Aleister Black and Ricochet faced Bobby Roode and Chad Gable and The Revival in the Raw Tag Team Championship match. Then we had the United States Championship match, Samoa Joe versus R-Truth versus Andrade versus Rey Mysterio. Boss and Hug Connection versus Tamina and Nia Jax for the Women's Tag Team Championship. God, this is long. Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens versus Mustafa Ali for the WWE Championship. And the main event, Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley versus The Shield for one last motherfucking time.
Did you miss out Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair?
Oh, you have, yeah.
Oh my fucking God. Excuse me. We're not going to bleep the swears like WWE did. Yeah, we did. We missed out Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair in a match to decide whether or not Becky Lynch was going to go to WrestleMania.
Spoilers.
No idea what was going to happen. So yeah, the format. A long time ago on this podcast, we used to review each pay-per-view match by match, but then WWE decided to make pay-per-views like Fastlane 3 hours and 45 minutes.
The ironically named Fastlane, which is then nearly 4 hours long.
Yeah.
With 9 matches.
Clearly a big traffic jam. Ha ha ha.
Maybe this is WWE's like really erudite sort of critique of modern infrastructure.
Oh, that's good. Oh, I like that. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well done,
criticism.
WWE. Yeah, that's cutting.
High art from WWE.
Yes, so instead of reviewing each match one by one, although we'll probably touch upon most of them, we're going to do what we've been doing for the last probably for the last 10 or so pay-per-views, which is talk about the key matches first. In this case, it's going to be the 2 headline matches. Then we're going to talk about our best of the rest, our worst of the rest, pick out a star performer, and then give the pay-per-view a mark out of 10. And I think the scores are going to vary just from what was said before the record. Could be interesting. Then we'll have some listener comments, and we've got hardest question of the week, as I said. So let's start with the key matches. There were 2 headliners, as far as I'm concerned. We had the Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley versus The Shield, and then the WWE title match. But let's start with The Shield for what could be the last time.
I'll put money on this not being the last time the Shield are together.
How much?
20 quid?
John, do you want to take that bet?
Yeah, okay, I will take that.
20 quid.
Actually, when the hell is Dean's contract up? Because, I mean, when we talk about S.H.I.E.L.D., because I'm talking S.H.I.E.L.D., the original 3 members, because if Dean goes, they could probably still say they're the S.H.I.E.L.D. and be Seth and
I
Roman.
am saying that in the next, we're in 2019, in the next 5 years...
Oh, that's a lot of time.
Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose will reunite again. They will ride again as the Shield.
What about 2 years? 2 years.
2 years? I reckon they'll probably be back together in 2 years.
I don't think they will.
Okay. So let's have it at that. 2 years, 20 quid. Listeners, set your alarms for 2 years' time. Set a countdown timer for 2 years, and then
Actually,
get in touch.
whoa. I mean, I'm pretty sure they got back together on Raw. Does that count? I mean, we're talking after WrestleMania. We need to.
I'm quids in,
nail
mate.
this down.
They basically said that was it on Raw.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But
Okay, 2 years.
obviously,
I'm going to set my stopwatch now.
Okay, cool.
There we go.
I think this
We were
coincides with
pretty
the date that
sure.
me and Adam are both getting tattoos.
yeah, that's a whole other story. We were pretty sure that this was going to, we were pretty sure that this was the end for the Shield a little while ago. So it's a good point from Sam. I love the fact that when Dean Ambrose said he was leaving, WWE were like, fuck him. Let's put him in all these shit lower mid-card feuds.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Roman's back, it's like, oh, Dean, yeah, we need you. We need you, Dean.
Yeah, we've got loads of these old Shield t-shirts that we need to flog before you go. Can we just do this?
Yeah.
Last time?
Yeah, I really don't. I think it's a work. I think he's not going anywhere.
I think he will go.
It's very strange to hear them referring to his contract ending.
That's what's
It is.
Yeah.
It is
do they?
weird.
like. I think kind of, especially with the advent of AEW, it's kind of. Are they really going to publicize this guy is leaving? Like, it just. I don't know. I think
They're going to treat it like it's massive. It's going to be like Arsene Wenger, when we'd have somebody injured for a long, long time, and then they'd come back and they'd say it was like a new signing. It's going to be very much like that.
It's just
He's going to sign a contract.
Bray Wyatt, same gimmick.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do a gimmick switch. Bray Wyatt comes back as Dean Ambrose and Dean comes back as Bray Wyatt. I'd be up for that.
I'd be up for Dean Ambrose as a cult leader. I think it'd be good.
Yeah.
Anyway, the reason I think it's legitimate is, although they mention it on comms, it's not really part of the storyline. And I feel like if it was kayfabe, then they'd be making more of it. Like, there'd be people backstage, you'd have video segments of them trying to convince him to stay, all that stuff. They'd be making something more of it.
They literally made an entire main event about this is the last ride of the Shield.
That's a very fair point.
Yeah. Let's talk about the match. Do you think it's the right match to headline the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania?
I think there are extenuating circumstances in this, because obviously Roman's just come back. There's a bit of a feel-good factor around that. It's the last. I mean, if Dean is going, it's probably the last time they can do the Shield match, because obviously Seth is in the main event or co-main event with Brock.
Yeah.
So it feels like, I don't know, it feels right. It felt right.
Yeah, I think kind of this match for me, it was a bit of a slow starter, and I feel like it got quite good once the ref lost control.
Yeah.
The crowd were hot for it, which was good. And there were some nice spots here and there. It was enjoyable.
There was quite a few nods to sort of old Shield as well, like when Seth went into the crowd and did that crazy jump off.
Yeah. And I did get a little bit of a kind of Madison Square Garden curtain call sort of vibe from like when they all embraced in the ring.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit emotional there as well. Like, that felt legitimate to those guys. Like,
yeah, I thought that as well, which makes me wonder about my betting, but hey,
I felt quite emotional because I was just so delighted that the 3 hours 45 minutes had come to an end, and I'd managed to watch the whole pay-per-view before we were recording the pod. But I totally agree. The first half of the match, the first 10 minutes, I was like, I'm not sure. But then the second half was amazing, I thought. And it's true, those three guys, the Shield, all three of them were so up for it. I mean, the fact that Rollins did swear, shout, motherfucker, or whatever it was. Reigns was obviously so happy to be back, and Ambrose, I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, it's the best he's looked for a long time, doesn't it? When he did that elbow to the outside from on top of the turnbuckle, that was not something you see from him very often. That was great.
Yeah, it was a good match overall. I think the ref did a great job. Just deciding, do you know what? Actually, I don't fancy reffing this. You guys duke it out, and if someone gets pinned, let me know.
Did anyone think he looked like the ref looked like Curtis Axel?
Yes, yes.
I don't even remember looking at the ref.
It was Curtis Axel, 100%.
It definitely was. I was like, is that actually Curtis Axel? I haven't seen him wrestle for a while. What's happening with the B team? Maybe he's made the sideways move into reffing.
Do you remember when they went through that weird period of making Heath Slater a ref? I reckon they did the same thing for Curtis Axel, but they just forgot about him. So
didn't tell anyone.
The crowd were obviously loving it. I mean, the American crowds love the Shield, don't they? Let's face it. But we had the "This is awesome" chants, and it was much better than I anticipated. Definitely.
Yeah.
It was really fun. Hit all the right notes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think kind of, if I had a criticism of this, it was just a little bit kind of paint by numbers, sort of like, it did all the stuff that you expected to do. There's no real kind of surprise or conflict. It was just, hey, here's three good guys beating up three bad guys.
Yeah.
Lots of Superman punches. I think this is the real reason Brett isn't on the pod. He couldn't face talking about Michael Cole.
I imagine Brett Superman grimacing at every one of those Superman punches.
Yeah, I do. I think of Brett every time he does one now. It's great.
Yeah,
I tell you what I did see in the background when the Shield were embracing at the very end of the match, and you could just see like Renee Young and Michael Cole standing there like in front of their broken desk. Michael Cole with a little bit of a fist pump after he did the "Good night, everybody," and it was just a kind of like, you massive fucking dork.
Yeah, Michael Cole.
And do you think he was really pleased with the job he'd done, or he was just pleased to see the Shield?
I think he was just like, yes, we nailed another pay-per-view, guys, another Fastlane in the bank.
Yeah.
And he's Mr. Corporate, he would love that.
Yeah, definitely. I think he was just pleased that he didn't fuck up, and it was Rollins who did the swearing.
Yeah, for sure. I think kind of one of the weird things as well with this match main eventing Fastlane is that kind of Fastlane itself acts as a little bit of a buffer of a pay-per-view. So sort of like if they mess up the Royal Rumble like they have done in previous years, or if they kind of have a major injury or something, then Fastlane is like kind of the make-good pay-per-view where they can kind of try and put things back on track.
Yeah.
And this year they didn't really have to fix anything, so it was a little bit like a free ride for them.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
I think overall for this pay-per-view, I think we got the best possible outcome for each match, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I fully agree on that front, but
Well, we will elaborate as we go through.
We will.
Bearing the lead. Just quickly back on this, I just want to give a special shout out for our favourite, Baron Corbin, for taking that boot in the face but still doing the boss man slide to the outside.
did he actually get booted? I thought he avoided it.
I think that hit him in the face.
Yeah, I think it did. That's why the slide was slightly off kilter, wasn't it? But he still did it. He still got back in.
He's all right, Baron Corbin, isn't he?
I know we do it just to wind up Brett, but I'm seriously enjoying his work recently.
I'm liking that he's added a choke slam to his repertoire. I'm liking the new ring gear.
Should we just do 10 minutes on how we all love Baron now that Brett's not here?
I thought he was great in this match, and I think he's been great over the last 6 months.
I think
so.
As the face of this new kind of heel faction, I think he's very good at that.
I thought you were going to say, as the face of this podcast, I want to say that Baron Corbin's amazing. I was wondering what you were doing.
I'll commit to it. But I am going to call them out on the promo from earlier in the night. So you got one of probably the worst promos I think I've ever seen, with the fact that they had the camera on the floor. They didn't want to actually break the camera, so they kind of very gently scooped it up. They did this kind of found footage style promo where Drew McIntyre smashes it.
Yeah, he's great.
And then you got Baron Corbin. He's all right. He's not the best. He gets by. You get Bobby Lashley. He's still learning to talk. He's bloody awful. He is.
Why didn't they use Leo Rush? That's why they got him involved in the first place. Yeah,
like he's so bad. But then the end of the promo, like they're doing this whole kind of like found footage sort of thing. They can't actually commit to throwing the camera on the floor. They just very gently place it back there where they found it. And
not
it was
proper
just
heels.
No, it was all just a bit tame, and it was like, that was rubbish.
It was rubbish. Anyway, let's move on to the next match, the next key match that we're going to talk about, which is the WWE Championship match, which was supposed to be Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens. And then we had the very... let's talk about the room that the McMahons were in. Did you see that the office when
it was just a sofa in a small
dreadful little
room.
office. Yeah, 2 sofas and a
so
telly.
depressing. Made me cry a little bit.
I did think at the time when they walked in, I was like, what is going on here? Why is Vince like this? Is throwing away everything they've done in the last couple of weeks? Why is he just like, yeah, okay, let's do it. Yeah, okay, it's going to be a triple threat and it's happening now. And I made that note. I was like, they've gone, they've totally swerved what they were doing. And then obviously we saw that it was actually going to be the handicap match, and Kofi had to face the Bar. What do you think about that? Obviously, the crowd absolutely hated it, but it's just a means to an end, right?
It's fine as long as we get Kofi at WrestleMania. If this is all some screw job,
we're definitely getting Kofi at WrestleMania, like 100%.
Then it's fine. I don't mind it. I mean, I hated it at the time, but
I think I'd be more upset if I paid for tickets to come here and I was told it was going to be that and then it wasn't. But that's wrestling.
Well, you paid for tickets thinking you were going to see Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
So you didn't actually think necessarily. I mean, you weren't told that Kofi was going to be in it, but then you were led to believe it. So I think it was quite good.
I think they threw poor Mustafa Ali under the bus with this one.
Oh, so much. I felt so sorry for him when he came out because the crowd were just like, what? This is what we wanted.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't really get why he was added, apart from the fact, I mean, he has been in the title picture a little bit, and obviously he's been doing brilliantly, but it just felt a bit odd.
It's just irresponsible, I think, of WWE to put him there. He's like a young performer coming up who's got a bit of a push.
Yeah.
And putting him in this position, it's just going to not make him popular at all. It's going to do the exact opposite.
It was just strange.
Yeah. I don't think the crowd. I think they're booing because they wanted Kofi, but I don't think it is going to affect Mustafa Ali, particularly because he performed so well.
They did really well to rescue it.
The crowd really got behind them in the match. I know obviously they were the Kofi chants, but all three of these guys kind of smashed it this evening. They kind of,
I mean, the match itself was great. It was so good.
It was.
There was like hurricanranas all over the place. Spanish fly, 450 on the apron.
Kevin Owens' best match I've seen in a very long time.
Oh, so good to have him back. He looks in great shape as well.
It's the only match we've seen for a very long time.
It's weird having him as a face, though, right?
It really is. And he was even still doing a bit of heelish stuff, like taunting the crowd at places. And
Yeah.
It's still a bit new for him.
What are your thoughts on his new tattoos?
Yeah, right.
I couldn't make out what they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it before when he just had the bull or whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay.
That's tattoo chat done.
Tattoo chat.
It is great to have him back though, like specifically to have his cannonballs back.
That cannonball to the outside.
Best.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah,
He's brutal, that guy.
he is.
Where do you think he goes for WrestleMania, though? Because obviously this Daniel Bryan thing was a little bit of a kind of treading water sort of situation. He was never going to win.
It's
I'm
really
not
difficult to say. I've got absolutely no idea.
I'm hoping Sami Zayn is going to be coming back soon. Because that as a tag team I actually want to see. Or a rivalry. I don't care. I'm just kind of like...
You just feel like they don't have time to build it.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Sami
Yeah.
Zayn comes back at WrestleMania. Like, there's some sort of angle there where he comes back and then that starts a new program.
Kevin Owens is like having a beatdown or something, and then kind of like he runs out, makes the save. What a WrestleMania moment!
Yeah, that could work.
And then they're a face tag.
The bigger
team.
pop would be for Kevin Owens to come back at WrestleMania because he's probably the more popular of the two, though, isn't he?
I think so, yeah. But I mean, like those two are intrinsically linked to each other as far as careers go.
Yeah, I was surprised that Kevin. I did think that during the match. I thought, he's back, but it's kind of. I remember thinking it's going to be huge when he comes back, and this doesn't really feel huge. But
yeah,
partly because he's taken Kofi's spot, which obviously the fans weren't too keen on. So,
did you see the DDT from Mustafa Ali to Daniel Bryan from the turnbuckle? Did you see the bruise on Daniel Bryan's head afterwards?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
yeah.
I was looking at that
green.
and I was just like, oh no, you're not allowed to hit him on his head. That's
Ooh,
his
yeah,
weak
that's bad.
point.
Yeah, there were a couple of times.
I mean, his chest was all beated up again.
Yeah, he sells so well, doesn't he? I mean, he seems totally happy to just take a complete beating.
I mean, his in-ring work for this and at the Elimination Chamber have been outstanding. I think he's managed those matches really well, and he's performed in them so well.
Absolute seasoned professional,
Yep.
just knows what he's doing.
Yeah. What about that dropkick he did on Ali, where it was on
so good.
the top turnbuckle, and
Ali
Ali
just went flying, didn't he?
That looked great. Looked so good.
Even the finish with that sort of knee in midair to Mustafa Ali was
that was
such
awesome.
a great
Yeah.
finish.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
I love everyone in this match, and I think they did a great job.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to the Kofi match that inevitably they will do at WrestleMania.
Yep.
And how crazy will that be if he wins? Like, madness.
It feels like we could have some proper big moments at this WrestleMania.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's a weird one, this, because it does feel very much like kind of a... It's reminiscent of when Daniel Bryan became champion at WrestleMania, where it was kind of like fan support was what made it happen. And it feels like this is what's going to happen again to Kofi. And I guess kind of fans love it because they feel like they're involved, and wrestlers love it. It's just everyone wins from that.
It's a weird one, though, isn't it? That you wouldn't have called it in a million years. Really?
No, not at all. But I think that's kind of why it's all like everyone's like, oh yeah, it's how ironic. Kofi Kingston with this tag team is going to win the title because all the fans want it. And it's good, but it is kind of, I don't know, like it could almost be any wrestler, and if the fan support is big enough, they'll get that nod probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a good match. Really good match. And Mustafa Ali, just his 450 on the apron, everything he did, he's the real deal, isn't he? Like, I know he's had some great matches on SmackDown, but obviously, don't tend to watch SmackDown on a weekly basis anymore. And I really enjoyed getting to see him in this match with two of the absolute best and two seasoned pros, and he did not look out of place. And I mean, we'll probably touch upon Mandy Rose having her match, and she looked a bit nervy, and that was her first chance in a title match. Mustafa Ali has been on the main roster for less time than she has, and he just looks at home in those big matches.
Rise to the top has been mental.
Yeah. And
great entrance too.
Felt quite natural as well. Like, it hasn't been pushed too hard. It just felt like it's a natural progression.
Yeah, because he's good enough. It's not like they're pushing someone who's not ready, or he is good enough.
But the thing is that I would argue that a lot of those wrestlers on 205 Live are of the same ilk of kind of good enough and exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Like, would you be upset if that was Buddy Murphy? Like, he's a great wrestler as well.
Yeah, I can't imagine he's too much longer until he's on the main roster. If it's the main roster.
Yeah. But I think Ali's, obviously, he was doing all his promos and his social media videos, and the entrance and just the general sort of
Do you know what?
ring
I don't
gear
like
and
the
stuff
entrance.
like that. Oh, why?
like
Is
it
it
at
because
all.
it's some sort of computer game rip-off?
No, it's just, I don't know, just bright light Bane. It's kind of, I don't know.
Oh,
Just
I don't know. I
feel
think it looks pretty cool.
It's great.
Yeah.
I don't
Got the
know.
kind of Iron Man vibe.
Naomi
like
wore it better.
Oh, I prefer Ali's. A bit more subtle, if you can be subtle with neon lights.
Sure.
Okay, so those are the two key matches. We're now going to talk about the best of the rest. So, yeah, basically we'll take it in turns to pick out anything that we particularly liked or a match that we thought was particularly good. John, what do you reckon?
Okay, so I'm going to go for a match. Before it started, I'd already wrote, this is going to be worst of the rest.
Oh,
Shane O'Mac and The Miz versus the Usos.
this is a surprise.
I really enjoyed this match.
I mean, the crowd really enjoyed this match, which kind of got me into it a bit, but
I thought
on
it was.
then.
I mean,
Why?
The Miz's dad bit was a bit weird. I hate it when they involve real life family into wrestling.
especially
But-
when they've got no charisma at all.
No charisma at all. And looks really
I don't know where
weird.
the Miz gets his charisma from. That's-
Like, he
yeah,
got a
it
haircut in like 1974. I thought that, this would do me for the rest of my life now.
doesn't- yeah.
But the match was really good. Help, like you said, help with the hot crowd. The Usos are amazing. I just love the way they even just walk to the ring. They've got such a swagger to them. The way they bounce.
Agreed.
Just
Yeah,
so
I like
good.
their new T-shirt too.
Obviously, Shane O'Mac gets way too much ring time and just gets beaten up the whole time. But when the Miz comes in, he was great. And obviously at the end, we have the Shane heel turn. And that's the best possible thing we could have hoped for in this situation.
Yeah, I guess that was quite interesting because I guess most people might have been assuming the Miz might turn, and it would make sense to have the Miz being the heel potentially in this situation. I don't know. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
with the Miz being at home, it made a lot more sense. But
And even like
before
Shane
this, I
like
would have thought
abusing the
other way.
crowd and then the Miz's dad. And even when
it worked.
he tried to get the Miz after the match in this awful hold on the floor.
That was so
Which
bad.
was just hilarious. And then the Miz was sending it like a tramp. He looked like he just huffed a load of glue. His eyes were weird. We got the Usos retaining the belt. That's great. Shane lost. That's great. He turned on Miz rather than Miz turning on him. That's great. Everything was great with this.
What do you think, Sam?
I
that
kind
match?
of, yeah, I mean, I thought the crowd were great for this match. I think that was really a good thing. Like, kind of, they really played up the Cleveland kind of connection with the Miz and the crowd and the dad being there. Like, the whole thing kind of, it came together nicely. I would say kind of, my issue with this match is it came together very formulaically. Formulaically?
That'll do.
That would do. It was kind of, again, like kind of a very much kind of by the by sort of, everyone did the job that they needed to do. No real kind of surprises. The heel turn kind of like a million miles away. I do enjoy actually seeing Shane McMahon wrestle, weirdly enough, just because his entire moveset is straight out of the 90s, like the Russian leg sweep and the tornado DDT. It's enjoyable to see because it's like the last vestiges of the Attitude Era. And I'm glad they didn't kind of go for the coast to coast in this one.
Yeah, the Intercept coast to coast. I guess they had, didn't they?
Yeah.
That was really good, though. That was done really well.
Yeah, that did look good.
But just generally, I wasn't wowed by any of this match. It didn't feel like it was ever going to be a proper title challenge. It just felt like a vehicle to turn one of them heel.
Yeah.
And they did the job, I guess. Just kind of, I wasn't invested, but I think the crowd were really into it, and that's great.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I went into it with such low expectations, but it surprised me.
The first note I made was, I'm not pretending to be clever here because everybody thought the same thing, but it was Miz and Shane are going to lose, they're going to implode, they'll have a WrestleMania match, and the Usos will look really strong as usual, and that is what happened.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah.
I'll say my best of the rest. It's got to be the United States Championship match. My match of the night.
It
Yeah.
was really good.
It was.
There was a
like-
lot of hurricanranas here.
Oh,
Yeah.
there were.
It was spot heavy, but I like those kind of matches. Really fast pace, and the talent on show in that match. I mean, even R-Truth looked decent.
R-Truth is a very good wrestler, though.
But the other three, I know, but he's not on the level of Rey Mysterio or Andrade, is he?
No.
Really? And obviously Samoa Joe's a different kind of beast altogether. But they just work so well together. I love the stuff they've been doing on SmackDown. I love the fact that the Samoa Joe is the United States champion. because he works well as a champ.
He really needed that.
Yeah,
one
definitely.
run.
Yeah, and then there's just so many good things. The sequence where Andrade did that corkscrew, which just looked amazing in slow motion, and then Mysterio does the Hurricane Rana.
Andrade for me is the most wasted talent on SmackDown. Like,
You keep hearing that they like him and that he's due for a push. They keep toying with it, it feels like. Like, he puts on great matches week in, week out.
every time I watch his match, I'm just like, this is one of my favourite things I've seen. Like, he's just so talented.
Yeah.
I think I think he'll get there. At least he's appearing in championship matches. I know
Yeah,
it is still
true.
a mid-card championship, but and Rey Mysterio, oh my god, he's so good.
Bloody
Doesn't age,
love
does he?
Rey Mysterio. So good.
His entrance video is probably my favourite ever. The flashing of all the different masks and him with his
It's good, isn't it?
contact lenses. It looks so cool. Works really well with his music. He's just ripped. He's amazing.
Joe
Really.
was really good. Joe
really
works really
great.
well in these multi-man matches.
Yeah,
That bit where he went through the ropes to the outside, he actually flew in between the
Oh,
ropes to the
yeah.
outside, was
Yeah.
incredible. Like, that's so much
and,
skill.
and then winning with a Coquina clutch where it wasn't. Remember the last year when he had the main event with Roman and it was just Coquina clutches all over the place, and we're like, oh god, Joe.
I think
this
Joe
is what you should be
works
doing.
so much better with smaller wrestlers, though. Like, when he's playing that bigger, kind of heavier bully role, it works so well, especially on people like Andrade and Rey Mysterio, who are just, a bit smaller than him.
And then we need to give a little shout for R-Truth and his homage to his hero, John Cena, who's 6 years older than him. Oh, sorry, he's 6 years younger than him. Really funny.
He's so
it
good.
It just had
R-Truth.
everything, this match, I thought,
Yeah.
really.
I do love R-Truth's jump into the splits. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, must hurt so much, mustn't it? I can't.
Yeah.
Like, just give winces just thinking about it.
Yeah. It's madness. But yeah,
It was
match of the
great.
night for me, this was.
Yeah, it's definitely up. This and the SmackDown Championship match, I think, were the matches. 2 matches of the night.
Which SmackDown Championship match? Sorry.
The main, the WWE Championship.
Sorry,
Bryan,
the
Kevin
WWE.
Owens.
The WWE Championship. Come on, John. Call it by its right name. The
So many
prestige that
bloody
championship
belts.
has.
Jesus.
It's not the SmackDown Championship. Sam, what was your best of the rest?
Oh.
Come on.
Do you know what? All right, this is a hard one. I'm not going to lie. I didn't enjoy this pay-per-view. I didn't think any of the matches were great. Outside of the ones that have been previously mentioned, I would have to say I actually did enjoy Asuka versus Mandy Rose. I think Mandy Rose has a long way to go. Like, she's not at Asuka's level yet, but I think kind of she's good. And I wish she was in NXT, to be honest, because I'd love to see her develop further. I like her knee, kind of like her striking game. I don't think it's a weird one coming out of her, because like you'd expect Sonya Deville to be the striker and her to be more kind of wrestling, but
Yeah.
I think that was cool. And then I like the finish to this match as well. It was kind of a bit weird with Sonya Deville getting the wrong side of the ring at the beginning.
Oh, what was going on with that? What was she looking for? Like a lunch?
I thought it was Hornswoggle. But it would have been great if Selena Vega was down there.
It wasn't executed perfectly, especially when they did the slow-mos and it kind of showed that she
Yeah.
didn't even tread on the apron. But it was, I thought it was a
Exactly.
nice idea, quite a nice way
think-
of ending it.
What I liked about this is that the first time I saw it before the replay, I genuinely thought it was a botch into a finish. And then when they jumped on the commentary so quickly with that, it was like, oh, okay, no, they planned this. But you know what? To break up Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, I'm happy to see those two wrestle each other. I think that's kind of cool.
I don't know. I like them as a team.
Yeah.
I like them as a team as well. It's weird to break them up, but I guess
I think
kind of
they're teasing it. I don't necessarily think they'll go the whole way.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird one, but
Yeah.
I mean, definitely not the best match of the night by any stretch. But it makes Asuka look a bit stronger.
Yeah,
and
Probably the best slow-mo of the night, though, with Asuka's kick to Mandy Rose's face.
Oh.
I think she
Yeah.
actually got knocked out there for a second.
Yeah.
The way
Yeah,
she
that
fell
was-
it was either the best selling I've ever seen, or she legitimately got locked out for a couple of seconds.
It just reminds you how people, how these wrestlers do take these shots like properly. They do get properly kicked and punched in the face a lot.
I think kind of the thing as well, like Asuka is sadly, just because of the how successful Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Ronda have been, Asuka has been very kind of left out to dry. Even when the championship is still like, well, do you know what? You're not even close to top of the women's card here.
The worry is that she'll be on the pre-show for WrestleMania.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I don't know who her thing would be. Actually, her opponent.
And it's a tough one because she's so good. And if nothing else, you know what? It's nice to see her just beat someone, get a win.
Yeah, I enjoyed this match. Like I said, I think Mandy's knees look great. She's really strong as well. Like, she's got great arms.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to see more of her, but I do see her being awkward in the ring, but I think she's very much kind of improving at a pace.
Yeah. The one thing I hate about this was actually Graves' commentary. It was very Attitude Era Lawler-esque, which is not a great comparison.
Horrible.
Yeah, that's just... It's a weird one, isn't it? Because it was quite amusing at the start, but it's been going on for months now, and it's like there's only so much material he has, so he has to bring up new stuff. That does sound a bit much, but yes. I had one other best of the rest, because basically I had 4 matches that I really loved, and the fourth one, we've discussed 3 of them. The fourth one was the Raw Tag Team Championship match.
Yeah, I think we have to chat about that, because that was also a great match.
Yeah,
Oh,
it wasn't quite
wow.
the level of my other 3 that I really liked, but I just, the talent. You've got obviously the Revival. Not sure about their title reign so far, but they are a great talent. Chad Gable's amazing. Bobby Roode, okay, maybe not so much, but yeah, it has its moments. And then we've got 2 of our absolute favourites from NXT. I mean, I wondered what you guys thought about the fact that they've been packaged up to start off with. That's quite a clever way of getting them in front of the crowd.
So much. Like, Aleister Black is the number 1 wrestler in my top 50 wrestlers. He is easily my favourite wrestler in the world. And seeing him put in this makeshift tag team just to kind of, I don't know, raise awareness it's a disservice to how good he is.
I'd kind of agree with that. I really enjoyed this match, but seeing Ricochet and Black together, it just feels weird. Like, it doesn't fit in with Black's character as well at all. Like, he's such a, I hate to use this term, but lone wolf.
Yeah, but he does it so well, and it's just like, it just upsets me to see this. Like, kind of, I don't know, it's a weird one, because I didn't think this match was that good.
This reminded me of like a takeover match.
I wanted it to remind me of a takeover match, and I don't know, maybe it just needed like another 5 minutes or something.
NXT people.
I thought the Revival were great. They're always great. Ricochet is so good. Like, every match I've seen of him, he does something that I'm like, my jaw just drops.
Was it the nasty Hurricane Rana botch where your jaw dropped?
Oh, what was that?
On the outside.
Oh, that was bad.
Where he did it, and to one of the members of the Revival, who then went smash into the apron. That all went totally wrong. Yeah, that was quite a bad botch, and it's
more the sort of flip over the turnbuckle. I love that spot.
That was great. I agree. I mean, he every match he does something that just looks absolutely out of this world and obscene, and he's great.
And what I absolutely love, like my favourite moment of this entire pay-per-view, and I'd even missed it in real time, it's only when they showed the replay, is when Ricochet was doing that jump over the turnbuckle, Chad Gable touched him to tag himself in.
That was good.
That's such good continuity. Like, that's amazing to think of that.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I thought that as well. It was weird, because like, I didn't see it at the time as well, and I think kind of Chad Gable is he's a level beyond everyone else, like, even for continuity. I like to think he wasn't even scripted that. He just thought, no, this doesn't make sense. I've got to tag myself in here because I've got to weak the pin.
As Ricochet was flying in midair past him, he just, boom, tag.
I can't get behind Chad Gable and Bobby Roode.
Oh, God, I fucking hate Bobby Roode.
I just feel sorry for Gable having to come out to the same entrance and wear a robe and just obviously be like the weak link in a way, even though he is much better.
Like how we're talking about, like, kind of this Kofi push and how it's the fans behind him, and that's kind of what spurred it on. Man, a Gable push. I'm just saying, like, people would go nuts if he just got that opportunity to push himself in singles.
But the crowd don't have the connection with Gable that they have with Kofi.
I know.
At all, do they?
I know, reason. But like, if the crowd started, I just want to see a Gable push, a singles push. He's so much better than being in a makeshift tag team.
I feel like his time will come. Like, he's too charismatic and too good a wrestler for it not to.
I almost wish he was still on NXT then, because how would you like to see Chad Gable versus Velveteen Dream? Like, that's a feud I could watch for months, I reckon.
Yeah. Chad Gable deserves better.
Chad Gable deserves better. He's the new Rusev, who is currently on the pre-show.
Cool. So that's best of the rest. Any other little points, not matches? Any other things you enjoyed? I only say that because I thought Elias's songs were all really funny throughout the night.
I was going to get onto that worst of the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you can maybe complain about the way they're using Elias, but the content of his songs was really good. Okay, cool. Well, let's have a little break and then let's get on to the worst of the rest.
And he dropped the WWE United Kingdom champion on the hardest part of the ring.
Okay, then, worst of the rest. Do you want to start off then, John? Is it going to be Elias?
It's going to be the Elias stuff. Well, actually, okay. So first Elias promo, I was like, okay, Elias promo, here we go. Then no match. I was like, okay, that's weird. Second Elias promo, I was like, okay, that's okay. This is getting irritating now. Again, no match. Third Elias promo, I'm like, okay, this is actually funny now. This is working. Then Lacey Evans walks out, and then Randy Orton turns up, and AJ Styles is there.
Okay, that was
Pikachu
weird.
era.
I was like, what the hell? Why is Randy Orton and AJ Styles there? It makes no sense.
I do kind of feel bad for them that they had to travel.
Yeah, all
For
that
that.
way.
I never thought I would miss Jason Jordan throwing vegetables at Elias, but here we are, guys.
I mean, the thing is, though, if he had a match, it would have been a shit match.
Yeah,
I'm kind of pleased they used him in the way they did. He was great. Like, the crowd stuff was great. I thought it was
The
some
crowd
of his
was so
funniest
good
work.
tonight.
Yeah,
They
this
really
was a
were. But
3-hour, 40-minute pay-per-view. Could we not have just cut the Elias stuff?
Yeah, okay. I'd rather know Elias than an Elias match. But I'm happy having his crowd work because he is very good at it.
One promo though. Why 3? And then why Lacey Evans? And then why?
I would love
Randy
to
Orton
cut
and AJ
Lacey
Styles?
Evans out of all of this. Like, they're really doing the Eva Marie kind of like. If we just
Her music's
make
in
the
your head right
entrance
now,
enough.
Sam, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is, yeah.
Me too. So
So
and we're
catchy.
talking about her again.
It
and
feels
she'll-
like they're destroying her though. Like this.
They're killing her before
Yeah.
she's even wrestled. Like,
No
well,
one's
they're
gonna
making
like
everyone
her.
hate her. Well, that's that's good.
Yeah, but
She's obviously going to be a heel,
isn't it? No one.
yeah,
no one
I'm
wants
not feeling this as proper heat.
Yeah, this is go away heat.
We'll see. Let's talk about bad matches. Let's keep it brief because, as you know, listeners, we're so positive all the time.
Are there any
Any
other
matches you weren't
left?
sure about? Well, I mean, the one I pointed out, the one I wrote down was the women's tag team championship match.
Oh, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I like Sasha, obviously, and I like Bailey, and I'm happy that they're the champs, and I think they are the right choice. And I think going down the line, they'll probably have some great matches and be good champions. But I just don't like Tamina and Nia Jax. They're just so limited. They're not mobile at all. I mean, I understand they've got the family ties, and that's why they're together, and they're both heels and they're both big. But Nia Jax needs somebody with a bit of pace so that she can actually be involved in a good match and then get the hot tag or whatever. It just, I didn't like it.
And then this was made even worse by Natalia running. No one's ever been excited for Natalia running.
How to make the crowd go mild.
Yeah, exactly. And we just know, like, I don't know, Tamina versus Beth Phoenix is going to headline the 6th hour of WrestleMania or something.
And it's just like, we get it. Natalia is everyone's fucking best friend. Ugh.
Yeah.
Put her through a table with her dad on it. Am I right?
Oh, that would be good. I hope that's her retirement match one time. That's how they end it.
But anyway, let's move on from that match because we don't need to waste much time on that. What are your thoughts on the Becky, Charlotte, Ronda? I mean, we all love what they've been doing generally. We love all the great matches they've had, etc., etc. What do you think about the way that they've got Ronda into this main event?
This is my worst of the rest.
Go on then, Sam. Have a little rant.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much to rant about other than just the fact that they had such a good thing going on here, and WWE they feel like they've royally fucked it for me. Like,
it does feel a little bit like that.
They haven't fucked it at all.
They definitely soured it a bit.
It's going to be an amazing main event.
I feel like they've messed it up by trying to paint Becky Lynch as this underdog face. And it's just like, do you know what? People got behind her because she just got fucked off and started acting like Stone Cold. And then they're like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Why don't we make it so she's more like The Rock? And it's like, mate, I don't know. Like, I'm not buying it. I don't like all of this build-up they're doing at the moment.
I'm looking forward to the match so much. I think it's going to be killer. But I completely agree with Sam. Like, they've taken that she's a badass kind of out of her. Now she hobbles around on crutches all the time.
Yeah.
Well, and then beats the shit out of people with those crutches.
Yeah, I still think they've just
don't
lost
buy
a little
it,
bit
man.
of it. It's just lost a little. It's still good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be too negative about it. It's still good, but it's just lost that early shimmer that was. It felt quite special, and now it feels just.
It
good.
feels like what was special about this match has now been transferred to the Kofi Daniel Bryan match.
Yes.
That now feels special, whereas this just feels formulaic.
Although that is slightly different because Kofi
no.
is a true underdog.
I think you're being too strong. I mean, that's how you feel, so that's fine. But it's not. It's still really big, and and they're still bloody great. And the fact that they've turned Ronda, that had to happen.
That's the right thing. That feels like the right thing to do.
The joke is that Ronda is now acting like, the way that she is now. The crowd could well get behind her again and start cheering her. That's just the way wrestling is at the moment, isn't it? It's just very weird. If you try and be too much of a good guy, you get booed, and then if you're too much of a bad guy, you'll get cheered.
Do you know? I didn't realise. So I've been a bit down on Ronda's promo work. I've never thought it was very good. Apparently, she has a speech impediment.
Oh, does she?
Apparently.
I did not know that.
Can I give one more shout out for Worst of the Rest?
Yeah.
Small one. It's kind of weird how this has worked out. How Cesaro, Sheamus, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Rusev, all the foreigners, have become just the bait up good guys squad. It's like it doesn't matter how long it goes, WWE will always find a way just to pair together every single person who's not American to make some evil faction.
Yeah.
I did feel I thought that a bit with the bar. I was like, look at these guys, they're both really good, and here they are being chucked in to beat up Kofi. But it's just the problem they've got with so much talent. The bar
eats so much shit though. These are the same guys who got done by Braun Strowman and Nicholas.
I know that one of the best tag teams in the entire world, top
Braun Strowman
10.
and Nicholas.
Yeah, they're probably just outside the top 10, maybe top 50.
He's going to sign with AEW.
Oh, that'd be so
God.
I can't believe they haven't tried. I can't believe they haven't tried to do it.
Amazing. Okay, that's it then for the really negative stuff. Let's single somebody out for a bit of praise and pick our star performer each. Sam, do you want to go first?
Yeah, Curtis Axel did an amazing job.
Great officiating.
Is that really your pick?
Yep.
Oh, Sam. John?
I mean, it's got to be Roman Reigns, isn't it, really? Such a good feel-good factor.
I suppose so, yeah. Right, now I feel bad if I don't pick Roman Reigns, but I'm going to pick Mustafa Ali, just for all the reasons I said earlier. Just did not look out of place in a WWE title match with Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens. Again, if you said that a year ago, you'd be like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
It's a very good point, to be fair. Yeah.
But yeah, he performed brilliantly. Now it's time to do the overall rank. We're each going to give the pay-per-view a score out of 10, work out the average and see how it ranks against previous ratings. It's going to be an interesting one. We know it's going to be a low score from Sam. I think it's going to be quite a high score from John. So I'll go first because we know that I'm heavily influenced by my peers. So I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Okay.
I thought 3 of these matches were really good. And yeah, the rest of them were sort of either okay or below average. So yeah, 7.5 for me. Let's go negative. Let's go Sam.
It's probably about a 2.
2?
Mate, why'd you do this? It's like the draft all over again.
I had nothing for this pay-per-view, man. It was just
outrageous.
It was a meandering episode of Raw.
I thought without Brett on here, this might be our highest ever reviewed pay-per-view.
Oh, goodness me.
So that's the worst score you've given now for any pay-per-view. Is this the worst pay-per-view you've seen?
Yeah, I think this is easily... I enjoyed that WCW one more than this.
You mean the classic Wrestle War 92?
Yeah.
The classic.
I just didn't think
you've
this was
given
very
this
good.
a lower score than WWE Super Showdown.
Yeah, I mean, I gave a 10 a few weeks ago. What do you want from me? I thought it was a bad pay-per-view.
I want consistency, Sam.
You've got consistency in extremes. I give 10s, I give 2s.
There's no middle ground, just extremes.
Man, okay. I mean, there's nothing we can do about this. We've just got to crack on, John. We've got to soldier on. Just give it a 12 out of 10 or something and then we'll be okay.
So I generally really loved this pay-per-view. I enjoyed everything about it, even matches I thought were going to hate. I was going to give it 8.5. But because of Sam, I'm going to go 10.
What is going on?
It's utter chaos. What is going on? We got a 6.5 overall, so...
Sorry. If I'm going to argue against Sam giving it a 2. John. A
Okay,
10.
okay, you're right.
It was 3 hours 45 minutes.
A 10 should be something that's only given out on very special occasion. I will give it 9.8.
I can't believe this.
Oh man, you're
Brett,
killing the average
honestly.
here. This is a mess.
We're a mess. When it's just 3 of us, we're a total mess.
It's a 6.43 overall. It doesn't stand out. It's kind of meh, just like Fastlane.
6.43. That is unbelievable. So that puts it along the likes of SummerSlam 2018, TLC 2018, and Elimination Chamber, which was obviously a couple of weeks ago.
Elimination Chamber was so good. Oh.
Elimination Chamber was good.
Well, this is the thing. I gave it 5.5. Obviously, it depends on moods because I was a bit moody when I watched that and just wasn't into it. So, basically, if you want like consistency and realistic scoring of pay-per-views,
You've come to the wrong
hardest part of the ring is not for you. But pretty sure that's not why you tune in. So there we go. Can't wait to speak to Brett on the next pod and find out what he thought if he actually did watch it.
Do we add his score in posthumously?
So hold on, John. 9.8. Yeah.
Yeah.
9.8 for you and a 2 for Sam. This is absolutely ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised if we lost every single one of our
It's the
listeners.
road to WrestleMania, Adam. Things get crazy and wild.
Yeah.
Right.
John is suspended from hardest part of the ring for 60 days, which means you miss WrestleMania.
What, like last year? Part-timer.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Hey,
Did I miss it last year?
Yeah, you did. You went on fucking holiday.
Oh.
There's been a lot of swearing in this
Good,
pod.
good days. Good days.
You're all pricks. Let's have a break and then let's see what the listeners thought.
Oh! Right on the apron. The spine run right down the apron. The apron doesn't give a damn. Your body does.
Listeners, please. Let's hope that each of the listeners agreed with each other. And if they did, then we'll just defer to them. John, what did they say?
Well, let's see if they all agreed with me. So Carl Luckhurst has been in touch. He says, disappointing show in terms of build to WrestleMania. I disagree with that. Women's matches weren't great, particularly the tag match. That's fair. Male tag match were good. Some high-risk spots. Fatal 4-way, packed with action. Not sure on Mustafa Ali, but guess that continues the Kofi Mania story.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disappointing. Yeah.
3.
It got where we needed to go, this pay-per-view. I think people are down on it.
Particularly Sam. Okay.
Well,
who else?
just reading
Who
through
else?
some of these listener comments. Apparently, most of the listeners as well. Maybe I was just in an unusually very good mood.
Were you drunk again?
Yeah.
I don't think. No, I didn't drink a drop of alcohol.
You can't remember if you were drunk, so yes. You were drunk.
I was high on wrestling. Loserweight's been in touch. He says, or she says, who knows? Or
I
they
think
say.
it's a he. Yeah, I think it's
felt
a he.
like
but
an
you never know.
average, above
Don't
average.
gender our random listeners.
Felt like an above average Raw rather than a pay per view, which is intended as a compliment. It didn't fit. That doesn't feel like a compliment.
That's a backhanded compliment if you've ever heard one.
I know what he means. Says the guy who hasn't watched Raw for about 6 months, but yeah.
WWE title match was excellent. Honourable mentions for US title match and Raw tag title matches. Everything else was mostly standard weekly TV stuff.
Yeah, see, there you go. I mean, that is a good point. That, all those other matches were like TV stuff, but then there were like 3 or 4 really good standout matches. I agree with Loserweight.
Hang on a
Loserweight would have
second.
given it a solid 7.5.
He's added some excellent comments here. Having said that, really enjoyed the Usos versus Miz O'Mac match. See?
Okay, don't agree with Loserweight anymore.
Thought Miz sold the Valiant face roll really well, and Shane's interception dropkick was unbelievable for a 50-year-old non-wrestler. It was really
That's
good.
actually a very good point.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah.
Trouble is, when he wrestles, he looks so unlike a wrestler as well.
Yeah.
I love watching his big, blown-up, sweaty, puffy face.
He's so puffy. He's the puffiest.
Always looks like he's been stung by a bee.
It's
Yeah.
just it always
a
makes me
swarm of
smile.
bees- a swarm of bees just attacked his neck and throat.
As he ran through a waterfall.
Yeah.
Just well done, Shane. Right, never stop. Which we, by the looks of it, probably won't.
Of course not.
Feel more invested in this story than any of the others so far for Mania.
Well, I guess it is a proper story. Yeah. Anyway.
But it's one of those stories that as soon as they started interacting, like, okay, this is WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's very true. And it did all start off with them being the best tag team in the world, or The Miz being the best. Oh no, what was it? The Miz was supposed to be the best wrestler, and then Shane O'Mac was the best wrestler.
It all started at that World Cup, didn't it?
All started in Saudi Arabia. How any great story starts.
So we've got 2 more listener comments. S. Andrews has been in touch. He says, disappointing, 2 out of 10. That's harsh.
Oh, well, you're a prick, S. Andrews. I want you to stop listening immediately. Never get in touch with us again. You obviously don't know anything about wrestling.
That's very true.
Finally, so Aaron Hicks has been in touch. He says...
Yes, I've wanted to interrupt. This is Ermir from WrestlePlug Podcasts, and he always gives me grief for pronouncing his name wrong on the pod, and for also giving his podcast the old name. It used to be called Smart Plug Podcasts, but it's now the WrestlePlug Podcast, so sorry about that. But yeah, his new name, which obviously you'd think is a bit weird if he wasn't a wrestler or something, is Aaron Hicks. And it's because he has become a wrestler.
No way. That's amazing.
He's been training as a wrestler. I can't remember which promotion or which training school, but I've seen a lot of the videos, and anybody who knows will know that he's a big guy.
Hell yeah. That's amazing. I can't wait to see him wrestle.
He's got his debut coming up. I can't remember where, but if you send us a message, we'll give a shout out on our next pod.
Yes.
So yeah, pretty exciting. I'd like to think he was inspired by our podcast, but that's absolute bollocks. He said
no, we're taking that. No, he probably was.
No. Anyway, yeah, what did he have to say?
He says WWE title match was amazing. Stop whinging, Marks. Is anyone whinging about that match? It was really good.
I'm whinging about all the matches, so yeah.
The crowd.
I am the Mark in this.
Stop it, Mark. The Shield are boring. Get over it. I thought that before this match, but when they actually came out in their gear, I was like, ooh.
I grew into this match, so yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like, Dean Ambrose just suits the gear really well. Everyone else looks a bit weird in it. Seth Rollins looks really weird in it.
Seth Rollins' ripped version of it towards the end of the match. That was quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate the way Becky versus the World is booked.
Yeah, me too.
US title on Samoa Joe is money.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting in touch, everyone.
Yes, thank you as usual. Coming up next, we've got Hardest Question of the Week, where more listeners got in touch. Can you believe it?
Question of the Week.
Right, Hardest Question of the Week this week. I put the question out on social media because the pay-per-view was called Fastlane. I thought I'd do something to do with cars. So I simply asked, what is your best wrestling car pun? And Sam and John, I hope you're thinking of yours. We got loads of replies, so I just picked out my favourites. George Gill, 95. Honda Rousey.
Nice.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Grapple Arcade says Ford Alfred Hayes.
Oh,
very good.
That's
There's
good.
some strong
Samoa Peugeot.
Oh, very nice.
Samoa
that might
Peugeot,
be a winner for me. I like that.
Kirsty Jowett suggested Tesla Blanchard.
Yep, good.
These are good. Oh,
I like that.
One, Kirsty.
I thought it was good.
Ed Bevan sent loads.
No.
And then shortly after he sent them, he then said, "These are all fire, by the way." So he was a big fan of his own submissions. I picked out a few of his highlights, which include Session Moth Cortina.
What's a Cortina?
Kenny Vauxhall Amiga. What's a Cortina? Cortina?
Ford Cortina?
Yeah, I don't know what a Cortina is.
Ford Cortina. That is an iconic car. You should have a little Google of that afterwards.
Cool.
Kenny Vauxhall Amiga and TK Mini Cooper.
Oh, TK Mini Cooper is very good.
Very strong. We got a simple one from Capital Clamface who simply said Johnny Gargano. And I personally think Mike Welsh wins. He sent quite a few as well, but these are all top quality. He has Skoda Ibushi.
Nice.
Which I should actually say that MJ also suggested that, but about 5 minutes after Mike Welsh.
That sucks. That jumps on my one as well. I'm unhappy now.
He said Miserati.
That's good, actually.
A Lexus Bliss. And finally, he said Rusev Udria, Rusev Mazda.
That's it. That's got to be the winner.
Yeah, that is easily.
Yeah. Sam, I expect you've done pretty well on this. What did you come up with?
Skoda Roads. Skoda Roads. Skoda. It's got roads in it. I mean,
yeah, should we go straight to John?
Road on Reigns? Road.
God, guys. You didn't both have to try and squeeze Road into a shit
Rover. Roman Reigns Rover.
Oh, Roman Reigns
absolutely
Rover.
shit.
I give up.
Work.
We can't
Right.
do this pod anymore, guys.
Right, let me win this. Let me win this because I've come up with 3 absolute corkers.
It's hard when you come up with a question like a day before.
Yeah, but I mean, let's have full disclosure. I sent this to you at lunchtime. Said come up with some ideas. So I don't know what the hell you were doing. Working or something? Commuting home, watching Fastlane? Unbelievable. My 3. I've got 3. Audi Roddy Piper.
That's so good. Oh god, that's really good.
Peyton Rolls Royce. I mean, it works.
Yeah.
And finally, Chevrolet Mysterio.
Yeah, I think Audi Roddy Piper is amazing.
For fuck's sake, why do I always peak too soon?
Oh man, this happened again.
Oh dear. Anyway, yes, so that was hardest question of the week. I think it's time to end this podcast. So let's talk about what we've got coming up. We are not going to pod next week because we've all got various other commitments. We will be back the week after. We do have a quiz on the horizon. It may be ready then, but it might not. So if not, we might have a news roundup or something like that, but we'll definitely be back in a couple of weeks. So yeah, next week, you're just going to have to go back and listen to all the old episodes, guys, if you want your hardest part of the ring fix. I've just realised Brett isn't here. How on earth are people going to know how to get in touch?
Well, let me tell you.
Oh, Sam.
With the run-in.
You can email us at hardestpartofthering@gmail.com. You on social media? We got you social media. You can contact us at hardestpartpod on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. And hey, you feel like buying some merch? Maybe a t-shirt, maybe a sticker? Why don't you go to hardestpartofthering.bigcartel.com?
I love the way you always bring your A game for that, just to rub it in Brett's face. But remember, last week, Brett was outstanding at that.
He was on fire. We should just recycle what he did last week.
Yeah, tempted just to copy and paste that in, but
yeah,
too much work. Okay, thank you everybody for listening, and thanks for watching Fastlane and then taking the time to listen to this as well. And if you didn't watch Fastlane and you are relying on us to give you a proper rundown, then I can only apologise.
Got you again, listener.
Yeah. We will be back in a couple of weeks, as said. But until then, it's goodbye from me, Adam. Goodbye from John.
Goodbye.
I did a different order again. Goodbye from Sam.
Bye. Duh.
And that was the hardest part of the ring.
That is the hardest part of that ring.
On the hardest part of the ring. Hardest part of the ring.
Coming up next, we've got hardest question of the week, where more listeners got in touch. Can you believe it?
Yes.
I thought we were going straight into the sting there.
Yeah, we were. We are.
But now we can't because we got this.
No, we can.